it's Friday. It's okay to have a little bit of a lighter day. Broncos holding a jog through on this day 3 of training camp. Hello, and thank you for joining us for our daily recap. I'm Phil Milani alongside Nick Ferguson and Aric DiLalla. Nick, let's start with you. Can you learn anything from a jog through?
Yeah, I mean, it is technically still practice, and we think, well, we're only 3 days into the Broncos training camp, and you have to figure the coaches want guys to make sure that they're fine-tuned and know exactly what they're doing. There were some mistakes probably made in day 1 and day 2. The one thing about the walkthrough, you can get guys to come out and go back over those plays to make sure that everyone is good to go, because there is a special practice on Saturday that we expect that tempo to be faster. So you want guys reacting, and I think so that's why there's so many things that you can learn from today's walkthrough.
Yeah, and I think you're going to get more plays too. Nathaniel Hackett said that when you do a jog through, sometimes you get right back to the huddle, get a lot more plays. It's more than they've done the first 2 days. He said he saw things were sharper. Said Jerry Jeudy's routes were better today than they were yesterday, for example. And then the other thing he said is you've got to master the jog through, because in season you're not going full pads. You're not going all out on a Wednesday or a Thursday when you're getting ready, when you're in December. So you've got to learn how to do this jog through pace, still get those reps in. He liked the focus and thought it was an efficient day.
And that's the thing, you just spell it out for the guys. You know, you say, hey, we're going to try to keep ourselves fresh, get our minds right, get our legs back a little bit, and then no, tomorrow, I mean, it's go time. And you know, we're still going to be protecting the team and making sure we're doing the right stuff, but we're going to get a good one tomorrow.
Aric, you brought up Jerry Jeudy. He's been sort of the talk at camp so far through 3 days here. Nick, how good can Jerry Jeudy be this season?
Well, he can be a great wide receiver, because most people, when we think about Jerry Jeudy, we think about the guy last season got injured early. We didn't see a lot of production out of him, and a lot of people kind of lost faith and confidence in Jerry Jeudy. But with the new offensive coordinator, a bunch of healthy receivers, Cortland's going to be back. That means you're going to find one-on-one matchups for Jerry Jeudy. You got to find ways to exploit that, because most teams in the NFL, they have 2 good corners. They don't have 3, and this Broncos team, they're filled with the wide receivers. So I'm expecting a lot from Jerry Jeudy this season.
At the end of practice, we saw him over signing some autographs, doing stuff. The crowd just starts chanting, Jeudy, Jeudy. I mean, there's some pressure on him to perform this season, Aric.
You were over there chanting too?
I was too, yeah. I was like, autograph, Jerry.
Yeah, maybe you get him after this. No, there is some pressure on Jerry to perform, but I think there's good reason to think that he can do that. One is that they're going to move him all over the field. Nathaniel Hackett said this might be the most difficult position to learn in this offense, is that wide receiver position. We know how versatile Jerry is. He can play in the slot. He can play outside. So they can create matchups for him week to week that I think will be beneficial. And then secondly, he has special traits as an athlete. We know how good Courtland Sutton is, obviously. We know how good Tim Patrick is. But Jerry Jeudy can do some things on the field that just make you go, wow. And so with a quarterback now that is unlike any player he's worked with in his brief NFL career, I think you're going to see him take that next step.
What is it? Is it just getting more mature, Nick, or what is it? This is year 3 for Jerry Jeudy, and there's this notion that, okay, he hasn't quite had that quarterback to give him the ball. Now with Russell Wilson here, he's got to deliver. Well,
that's the big thing. It's being comfortable. And usually by your 3rd year, you know exactly what a guy is, but it is the play calling as well. And, you know, when we really think about it, and not to really talk negatively about anyone else who's not here, but let's look at the quarterback situation for Jerry Jeudy. It wasn't a top-notch quarterback situation where you have a guy who's really competent. Russell now brings a lot of leadership, and you could tell that a lot of the guys, they're really confident about, you know, where this team can actually be. And I'll say this, you got to manage the difference between being confident and cocky. And I believe that that's where this receiving core is right now. But with Jerry Jeudy, the more that he starts to develop that chemistry with a Russell Wilson, we're going to see more and more production from him this season.
He's been hanging out in the quarterback room, like trying to learn their verbiage and what they're thinking. Maybe that's something that Jerry Jeudy wouldn't have done last year.
Yeah, maybe not. I asked him if he was trying to lobby for more targets. He kind of deflected that away, but could have been a smart play. I think you do see an increased maturity from Jerry talking on the podium. He just sounds like a guy who's obviously a couple years older, has been in this league a little bit. He knows what to expect. He knows how to treat practice, treat these opportunities. I think he realizes the stakes, and I also think no one's putting more pressure on him than he is on himself. He knows how good he can be. Obviously, he was an elite player at Alabama. He knows he hasn't quite gotten to those standards yet. I don't think anybody needs to tell Jerry Jeudy what's expected of him.
It's always a way to get better, even the little things that that you feel like you could do right, you just could be a tad more better. So I feel like there's a lot more improvement that I could build on, and I'm just doing that right here during camp.
How do you feel your chemistry with Russ on the field is going?
I feel like it's going good. I feel like I'm just being out there, even starting during off-season, going to his house and just knowing where he want me to be and why he want me to be there, and just add up on the timing. So I feel like it's good.
The other guy we heard from here on this Friday was Derek Wolfe. After 10 years in the NFL, calling it a career, 8 seasons here with the Broncos, 33 sacks. But maybe more important was that 2015 run really played a big role in helping the Broncos win Super Bowl 50.
Well, yeah, it's always tough when you call it a career after you kind of given so much of yourself to the game. But Derek Wolfe, a heck of a player. I mean, could end up being one of those Ring of Fame players for the Broncos. But yeah, I mean, he gave so much to this team, especially you think about, Super Bowl 50 with Malik Jackson. I mean, that really changed what the Broncos wanted to do up front. But here's something else that, having Derek Wolfe come back today, it shows a lot of these young players what this organization is about. You may start here, you may end your career somewhere else, but you still have a home here in the Broncos uniform. So it was great to see Derek Wolfe out here. He was signing autographs. Now, he wasn't screaming Jerry Jeudy, he wasn't screaming Jeudy, but he was signing autographs, and that was a great sight.
And he said he got a little bit teared up over there by the fans. Eric, I guess, what was your takeaway from him being back in the facility today?
Yeah, I think kind of going off what Nick said, just talking to the team, the fact that Nathaniel Hackett prioritized that, wants alumni to come back, talk to these guys, kind of give them some insight. Nathaniel Hackett said, you know what, I can say as much as I want. You got to take advantage of these opportunities. You got to be ready for this. Don't waste these moments. Doesn't mean a lot to hear him say it necessarily. When a guy like Derek Wolfe comes back, it means a lot. And I think that setting that standard as the head coach, that these guys are welcome back, that's big. And I don't think it's lost. It's probably not lost on a guy like you, Nick. It's probably not lost on other alumni who may be watching, who may hear that Derek came back today. So I think that's big for the culture of the organization.
What's special about the Broncos, huh? They always welcome everybody back.
Well, that is something that is special about being a Bronco. And I tell a lot of the young players, I'm talking to DJ Jones early in the week when training camp started. Hey, man, this is a loyal fan base. I don't know what it was like in San Francisco. It was a little different. But here, I mean, once you become a Broncos player, you become a Broncos player for life. And, Eric, you said something about what Coach Hackett was talking about. There was a standard. That standard was in place when Mike Shanahan and Mr. B, Pat Bowlen was here as our owner. So now George Payton and Nathaniel Hackett, they understand they're trying to bring that back and make sure every single Broncos player, I don't care if you play a year here, 5 years here, you're welcome back here in this organization.
I miss doing that stuff. I miss being around the guys. That's the one thing I do miss. I don't miss the physicality of the game. I do miss being around the guys and getting to talk to them and spread knowledge to guys. But I told him, I said, look, you guys finally got the piece that we've been missing. And that's Russell Wilson. I said, follow his lead. He knows what he's doing.
All right, well, that's going to wrap it up here on a Friday. Nick, you're ready for Friday night.
Yes, I am.
You're dressed. You're showing us up a little bit here.
In my pastel colors.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. You're looking sharp. Tomorrow, back together football here at UCL Training Center. Should be a special day, right, Eric? Did I say it right? Back together?
Back together Saturday. We're too excited to get it right.
I said that. Back together Saturday. Okay, so a special day tomorrow here at UC Health Training Center. That's going to do it for us. For Aric DiLalla and Nick Ferguson, I'm Phil Milani. This has been our Broncos Training Camp Daily Recap.